In Greek mythology, and in fact, in many stories and legends throughout the world, there are primordial deities. Primordial is usually a term used specifically for ancient gods and goddesses that were there in the beginning of all things. These beings are either the foundation in which our reality came into existence, or they exist beyond and out of time and space. It is through the actions, interactions, and courtships of the primordials that life either emerged from or was born from them. They are the firstborn immortals. In Greek mythology, the primordials, also known as protogenoi, were the very essence of existence and creations. Many of these primordials represent abstract concepts, such as Kronos and Ananke being the personifications of time and destiny respectively. The primordials were elemental beings which arose from the primordial soup and eventually gave rise to later generations of the more anthropomorphic deities that make up the later generations of Titans, Olympians, and other beings in the world. For the Greeks, chaos was the void of oblivion, the eternal abyss, the chasm of emptiness, and the infinite darkness before creation. It was the primordial waters before time and reality. Chaos was the primordial soup from which everything else arose. Some philosophers and writers called it a shapeless heap or unformed mass. Others considered chaos as a disorder and entity that fights order for control and balance. In some myths, chaos is the opposing force. For the Babylonians, Marduk fought the Jargonic being, the chaotic entity of disorder, Tiamat. For the Egyptians, chaos was the opposite of Ma'at, the force and embodiment of balance and order. The Greeks believed chaos to be found, after creation, right above Tartarus and below the earth. Chaos even has alchemical connections along with the Orphic egg as prime materials for the creation of the philosopher's stone. There are several tales that speak of the events right after chaos in Greek myth. In the Orphic traditions, there was a single being that emerged from the waters of chaos. This goddess of all things was known as Eurynome, who danced upon the waters of chaos. Her dance created one of the first winds, and from this wind she created the first serpent, Ophion, the primordial snake. From this union, Eurynome, having transformed into a bird, a dove depending on the source, laid an egg. It was from this first egg, this primordial entity, that the seeds of what will eventually become all life sprang. Ophion the snake coiled around it and waited for the egg to hatch. From it, 3 figures were born: Gaia, Uranus, and Orea. Afterwards, Eurynome and Ophion looked down at their children from Olympus, and there they had their first dispute. Ophion claimed sole credit in creation, saying that it was really his efforts that eventually led to all life on Earth. Eurynome, not pleased by his arrogance, hit him in the face, causing his teeth to fall. Ophion was then banished to the deepest pits of the underworld, Tartarus. His teeth fell on the Greek land and became seeds on the earth. From these teeth, men arose. This is part of the Pelasgian creation myth, the forerunners of the Greeks. While hearing this story, it may seem bizarre with some curious elements that either feel borrowed or reinvented from other creation stories. In this tale, Eurynome was eventually cast down by Kronos and Rhea, the Titan children of Gaia. Other legends speak of Kronos, Father Time, and Ananke, Destiny, who may have been born out of chaos, therefore being siblings to Eurynome. Or other myths say that they were instead the parents of chaos. However, these two are somewhat regarded as out of time and therefore not part or not usually included in the main Greek mythological family tree. For the purposes of structure, we will for the most part follow Hesiod's theogony. In this version of the creation myth, from chaos arose 5 primordial deities: Gaia, the earth; Tartarus, the deep pit; Eros, desire; Erebus, eternal darkness; and Nyx, the goddess of night. Thanks for watching and listening to this Greek mythology deep dive. This is the first of many videos that we'll be following, focusing on Greek myth. Please tell me down below which figures, whether obscure or popular, you'd like me to cover next for the Greek mythology deep dive. Thank you and have a good one.